You've probably heard that being spiritual means always being kind, peaceful, and nice. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? In fact, this common belief might be holding you back on your spiritual journey. Today, we're going to uncover a surprising truth about spirituality that might just change everything you thought you knew. Here's the thing. If you don't understand this hidden aspect of spirituality, you could be setting yourself up for failure. You might find yourself feeling fake, stuck, or like you're not making any real progress. It's like trying to climb a mountain with the wrong gear. You'll only get so far before you hit a wall. But don't worry, because once you grasp this concept, it can completely transform how you approach your spiritual path. In this video, we're going to dive deep into why being nice isn't always the best approach for your spiritual growth. We'll explore the hidden pitfalls of constantly trying to be kind and how it might actually be holding you back. But we won't just leave you hanging. We'll also talk about what you should be focusing on instead to truly grow and evolve on your spiritual journey. Let's start by talking about what most people think when they hear the word spirituality. For many, it conjures up images of serene meditation, soft-spoken gurus, and people who never seem to get angry or upset. There's this idea that to be spiritual, you need to be nice all the time, always agreeing with others and avoiding conflict at all costs. It's like there's an unwritten rule that says spiritual people are always calm, always kind, and never rock the boat. But here's the kicker. This popular view of spirituality is missing a huge piece of the puzzle. It's like trying to see the whole picture with one eye closed. Sure, kindness and compassion are important parts of many spiritual practices, but they're not the whole story. In fact, this narrow view of spirituality can actually lead to some pretty big problems. Always trying to be nice might seem like a good thing, but it can actually cause some serious issues. First off, it can lead to suppressing your true feelings. Think about it. If you're always trying to be nice, what happens when you feel angry, frustrated, or upset? You might push those feelings down, pretending everything's okay when it's really not. This isn't just unhealthy for you emotionally. It can also block your spiritual growth. Another problem with always being nice is that it can make you a pushover. When you're too focused on being kind and agreeable, you might find yourself saying yes to things you don't really want to do, or letting people treat you in ways that aren't okay. This isn't just bad for your self-esteem. It can also create resentment and negative energy that definitely isn't helping your spiritual journey. But perhaps the biggest issue with the always be nice approach is that it can lead to a kind of spiritual fakeness. You might find yourself putting on a spiritual persona, always trying to say the right thing or appear peaceful, even when you're feeling anything but. This disconnect between your inner reality and your outer behavior can create a lot of inner conflict and actually move you further away from true spiritual growth. So, if being nice all the time isn't the answer, what is? Well, the real spiritual path is about something much deeper and, frankly, more challenging. It's about authenticity, being true to yourself and your experiences, even when they're not pretty or pleasant. It's about growth, which often involves facing difficult truths about yourself and the world around you. And it's about transformation, which rarely happens without some discomfort. The truth is, the spiritual path isn't always comfortable or nice. Sometimes it means facing your own dark side, those parts of yourself that you'd rather ignore or pretend don't exist. It might mean having tough conversations, setting boundaries, or standing up for what you believe in, even if it ruffles some feathers. It could involve feeling intense emotions, questioning long-held beliefs, or stepping out of your comfort zone in ways that feel scary or uncertain. This might sound intimidating, and honestly, it can be. But here's the thing. This is where the real growth happens. It's in these challenging moments, when we're pushed to our limits and forced to confront difficult truths, that we have the opportunity to truly evolve and expand our consciousness. Instead of just trying to be nice all the time, the real spiritual path calls us to be authentic. This means being honest with yourself and others about what you're really feeling and experiencing. It means acknowledging your anger, your fear, your jealousy, all those negative emotions that we're often taught to suppress or ignore. Being authentic doesn't mean being unkind or hurtful to others. It's not about lashing out or acting on every emotion you feel. Instead, it's about acknowledging your full range of experiences and emotions and learning to express them in healthy, constructive ways. When you're authentic, you create space for real connection and growth. You allow others to see the real you, not just a polished, spiritual version of yourself. This openness can lead to deeper relationships, more meaningful interactions, and a greater sense of peace within yourself. Another key aspect of the spiritual path that often gets overlooked is the courage to face yourself. This means looking at your own behaviors, beliefs, and patterns with honesty and without judgment. It's about being willing to see your own flaws and shortcomings, not to beat yourself up, but to understand yourself better and create opportunity for real change. This self-reflection can be uncomfortable. You might realize ways you've hurt others or yourself. You might uncover beliefs that no longer serve you or recognize patterns that have been holding you back. But this discomfort is a sign of growth. It's like exercising a muscle. It might hurt in the moment, but it's making you stronger. One of the biggest misconceptions about spirituality is that it should lead to a state of constant peace and calm. But the truth is, life is full of ups and downs, challenges and triumphs. True spirituality isn't about escaping these realities. It's about learning to navigate them with grace and wisdom. Sometimes your spiritual path might lead you to feel intense emotions, grief, anger, fear, or joy. These aren't signs that you're doing something wrong or that you're not spiritual enough. They're simply part of the human experience. The key is learning to be present with these emotions, to feel them fully without being controlled by them. This approach to spirituality, one that embraces the full spectrum of human experience, is far more realistic and sustainable than trying to maintain a constant state of niceness or calm. It allows you to be fully human while also growing and evolving spiritually. One area where the always be nice approach really falls short is in setting boundaries. Many people think that being spiritual means always being available, always saying yes, and never causing conflict. But healthy boundaries are actually crucial for spiritual growth. Setting boundaries means knowing your limits and being willing to communicate them to others. It might mean saying no to requests that don't align with your values or needs. It could involve distancing yourself from relationships or situations that drain your energy or hinder your growth. At first, setting boundaries might feel selfish or unkind. But remember, you can set boundaries with compassion and respect. By taking care of your own needs and energy, you're actually better able to show up authentically in your relationships and contribute positively to the world around you. In many spiritual traditions, there's a concept known as shadow work. This involves facing and integrating the parts of ourselves that we typically try to hide or deny: our fears, our anger, our shame, our desires. These aspects of ourselves don't go away just because we ignore them. In fact, when we try to suppress them, they often end up controlling us in unconscious ways. Embracing your shadow doesn't mean acting out every dark impulse you have. Instead, it's about acknowledging these aspects of yourself with compassion and curiosity. It's about asking, what can I learn from this part of myself? What need is it trying to meet? This work can be challenging, but it's also incredibly freeing. When you're able to accept all parts of yourself, the light and the dark, you become more whole. You're no longer expending energy trying to hide or suppress parts of yourself, which leaves you with more energy for growth and positive change. Ultimately, the spiritual path is about transformation. It's about becoming more fully yourself, more aligned with your deepest values and truths. This transformation rarely happens in a smooth, linear way. It often involves cycles of challenge and growth, moments of insight followed by periods of integration. This path of transformation might lead you to question societal norms or challenge the status quo. It might involve making choices that others don't understand or approve of. It could mean stepping into your power in ways that feel uncomfortable or scary at first. But here's the beautiful thing. As you walk this path of authenticity and growth, you'll likely find that you become more compassionate, more present, and more able to contribute positively to the world around you. Not because you're forcing yourself to be nice all the time, but because you're coming from a place of genuine authenticity and self-awareness. When you embrace this more authentic, holistic approach to spirituality, you might be surprised by the positive impact it has on your life and relationships. By being true to yourself, you give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity can inspire others to be more real, more vulnerable, more human. This doesn't mean everyone will understand or approve of your choices. In fact, as you become more authentic, you might find that some relationships change or even end. But the connections that remain, and the new ones you form, are likely to be deeper, more meaningful, and more supportive of your growth. Moreover, by doing your own inner work, facing your shadows, setting healthy boundaries, and embracing the full range of your experiences, you become better equipped to handle life's challenges. You develop resilience, wisdom, and a deeper sense of peace that comes from being aligned with your true self. Remember, spirituality is not about reaching a fixed destination or becoming a perfect, always nice person. It's a journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. This journey involves getting to know yourself deeply, your strengths and your weaknesses, your light and your shadow. As you walk this path, you'll likely find that your understanding of spirituality evolves. What once seemed important might fall away, while new insights and practices emerge. This is all part of the process. The key is to stay open, curious, and willing to learn. You might also find that your spiritual path leads you to engage with the world in new ways. As you become more authentic and aligned with your true self, you might feel called to make changes in your life, to stand up for causes you believe in, or to create in ways that express your unique gifts. Embracing this authentic approach to spirituality takes courage. It's often easier to go along with societal expectations, to always try to be nice, to avoid rocking the boat. But the rewards of walking this more challenging path are immense. As you learn to be true to yourself, to face your shadows, and to embrace the full spectrum of your experiences, you open up to a deeper, richer way of being. You become more fully alive, more present, more able to connect deeply with others and with the world around you. This is the true promise of spirituality, not a life free from challenges or negative emotions, but a life lived fully, authentically, and with purpose. It's about becoming more fully yourself, and in doing so, discovering your unique gifts and how you can best contribute to the world. As we wrap up this exploration of the truth about spirituality, it's important to remember that this is an ongoing practice. You won't suddenly become perfectly authentic or completely integrated overnight. There will still be times when you struggle, when you fall back into old patterns, when you find yourself trying to be nice at the expense of being real. But now you have a new perspective, a new understanding of what true spirituality can look like. You know that it's okay, even necessary, to embrace all parts of yourself, to set boundaries, to face difficult truths. You understand that spiritual growth often happens in the challenging moments, in the times of discomfort and uncertainty. So, as you continue on your spiritual journey, be patient with yourself. Celebrate the moments of growth and insight, but also be gentle with yourself during the difficult times. Remember that every experience, the good, the bad, and everything in between, is an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. Let's dive deeper into why always trying to be nice can actually cause problems on your spiritual path. First off, it can lead to suppressing your true feelings. Think about it. When you're always trying to be kind and agreeable, what happens to those moments of anger, frustration, or sadness? Often, they get pushed down, ignored, or hidden away. But here's the thing. Those feelings don't just disappear. They stick around, building up like pressure in a closed container. Over time, this can lead to emotional outbursts, health problems, or a sense of disconnection from yourself. Another big issue with the nice all the time approach is that it can turn you into a pushover. When you're too focused on being nice, you might find yourself saying yes to things you don't really want to do. Maybe you agree to help someone move on your day off, even though you're exhausted and really need rest. Or perhaps you let a friend borrow money again, even though they haven't paid you back from last time. This kind of behavior isn't just bad for you. It can actually create resentment and negative energy that goes against your spiritual growth. But perhaps the biggest problem with always being nice is that it can lead to a kind of spiritual fakeness. You might find yourself putting on a spiritual act, always trying to say the right thing or appear peaceful, even when you're feeling anything but. This disconnect between your inner reality and your outer behavior can create a lot of inner conflict. It's like wearing a mask all the time. Eventually, it starts to feel heavy and uncomfortable. This fakeness can actually move you further away from true spiritual growth, which is all about being authentic and true to yourself. So if being nice all the time isn't the answer, what is? Well, the real spiritual path is about something much deeper and, honestly, more challenging. It's about embracing your whole self, the good, the bad, and everything in between. This means acknowledging and accepting all your emotions, even the ones that don't feel very spiritual. Being angry doesn't make you a bad person or less spiritual. Neither does feeling jealous, frustrated, or afraid. These emotions are all part of the human experience. The key is learning how to acknowledge these feelings without being controlled by them. It's about saying, yes, I feel angry right now, and then choosing how to respond to that anger in a way that aligns with your values. This approach to spirituality also involves facing your own dark side, those parts of yourself that you'd rather ignore or pretend don't exist. Maybe it's the part of you that can be selfish sometimes, or the part that judges others. We all have these aspects to our personalities. True spiritual growth isn't about getting rid of these parts of yourself. It's about acknowledging them, understanding them, and learning to integrate them in a healthy way. Instead of trying to be nice all the time, the real spiritual path calls us to be authentic. This means being honest with yourself and others about what you're really feeling and experiencing. It's about dropping the act and allowing yourself to be seen, really seen, for who you are. Being authentic doesn't mean being unkind or hurtful to others. It's not about lashing out or acting on every emotion you feel. Instead, it's about acknowledging your full range of experiences and emotions and learning to express them in healthy, constructive ways. When you're authentic, you create space for real connection and growth. You allow others to see the real you, not just a polished, spiritual version of yourself. This openness can lead to deeper relationships, more meaningful interactions, and a greater sense of peace within yourself. Think about it this way. When you're always trying to be nice, you're putting up a barrier between yourself and others. You're not allowing them to see the real you, with all your complexities and contradictions. But when you're authentic, you open the door to genuine connection. You might be surprised to find that people appreciate your honesty and realness more than they do a facade of niceness. Another key aspect of the spiritual path that often gets overlooked is the courage to face yourself. This means looking at your own behaviors, beliefs, and patterns with honesty and without judgment. It's about being willing to see your own flaws and shortcomings, not to beat yourself up, but to understand yourself better and create opportunities for real change. This self-reflection can be uncomfortable. You might realize ways you've hurt others or yourself. You might uncover beliefs that no longer serve you, or recognize patterns that have been holding you back. But this discomfort is a sign of growth. It's like exercising a muscle. It might hurt in the moment, but it's making you stronger. Facing yourself also means being willing to sit with difficult emotions. Instead of trying to push away feelings of sadness, anger, or fear, you learn to be present with them. You might ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What can I learn from this experience? This kind of emotional honesty can lead to profound insights and personal growth. Remember, the goal isn't to become perfect. We're all human, and we all have our struggles and shortcomings. The goal is to become more aware, more honest with yourself, and more willing to grow and change. This is the real work of spirituality, not pretending to be nice all the time, but truly getting to know and accept yourself, warts and all. What really matters on the spiritual path. Now that we've uncovered the truth about always being nice, let's talk about what you should focus on instead for real spiritual growth. The first thing to remember is the importance of self-awareness. This means paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment. It's about becoming an observer of your own inner world. Self-awareness isn't always comfortable. You might notice thoughts or feelings that you don't like or that don't fit with your idea of who you want to be. But this awareness is crucial. It's only by seeing yourself clearly that you can begin to make conscious choices about how you want to live and grow. Another key focus should be on personal growth and development. This doesn't mean trying to become perfect. Instead, it's about continually learning, evolving, and expanding your understanding of yourself and the world around you. This might involve reading spiritual texts, practicing meditation, or seeking out new experiences that challenge you to grow. Lastly, focus on cultivating compassion, both for yourself and for others. True compassion isn't about being nice all the time. It's about understanding and empathizing with the struggles and joys of being human. It's about recognizing that we're all doing our best, even when that best isn't perfect. Let's look at some examples of how this more authentic approach to spirituality might play out in real life. Imagine you're in a situation where a friend asks for your help with something, but you're feeling overwhelmed and need some time for self-care. In the past, trying to be nice, you might have said yes even though it would have stressed you out. But with this new understanding, you might instead say something like, "I really care about you and I want to help, but I'm feeling overwhelmed right now and need some time to recharge. Can we find another time to do this?" This response is honest, kind, and sets a healthy boundary. Or consider a scenario where you're feeling angry about something a family member did. Instead of suppressing that anger to be nice, you might approach them and say, "I'm feeling really upset about what happened. Can we talk about it?" This opens the door for honest communication and potential resolution. These examples show how being authentic doesn't mean being unkind. It means being honest, setting healthy boundaries, and creating space for real connection and growth. So how can you start applying these ideas in your own life? Here are some practical steps you can take. Practice self-reflection. Set aside time each day to check in with yourself. How are you feeling? What thoughts are running through your mind? Don't try to change anything, just observe. Be honest in your interactions. Start small if this feels challenging. Maybe it's telling a friend how you really feel about something, or expressing a preference you might usually keep to yourself. Set boundaries. Pay attention to situations where you feel drained or resentful. These are often signs that a boundary is needed. Practice saying no to things that don't align with your values or needs. Embrace your emotions. When you feel a strong emotion, especially one you might usually try to suppress, try sitting with it. What does it feel like in your body? What thoughts come with it? Remember, feeling the emotion doesn't mean you have to act on it. Seek growth opportunities. Look for experiences that challenge you and help you grow. This might be trying a new spiritual practice, having a difficult conversation, or stepping out of your comfort zone in some way. Remember, these changes don't happen overnight. Be patient with yourself as you explore this more authentic way of being. It's okay to stumble or fall back into old patterns sometimes. That's part of the journey. As you embrace this more authentic approach to spirituality, you might be surprised by the changes you see in your life. You may find that your relationships become deeper and more meaningful. When you're being real with others, it invites them to be real with you too. You might also notice a greater sense of inner peace. Even though you're no longer trying to be nice all the time, you may actually feel kinder and more compassionate, both towards yourself and others. This is because true compassion comes from understanding and accepting the full range of human experience, not from pretending negative emotions don't exist. Your spiritual practice might evolve too. You may find that meditation becomes more profound as you allow yourself to sit with all your thoughts and feelings, not just the nice ones. Your understanding of spiritual teachings might deepen as you engage with them from a place of authenticity rather than trying to fit yourself into a preconceived notion of what it means to be spiritual. As we wrap up this exploration of the truth about the spiritual path, remember that spirituality isn't about being nice all the time or reaching some state of constant peace. It's about being real, facing yourself honestly, and continually growing and evolving. This path isn't always easy. There will be times when it's uncomfortable, challenging, or even painful. But it's through these experiences that we grow the most. By embracing all aspects of yourself and your experience, the light and the dark, the joy and the pain, you open yourself up to a deeper, richer, more authentic spirituality. So forget about always being nice. Instead, focus on being real. Be honest with yourself and others. Set healthy boundaries. Face your fears and shadows. Embrace your full range of emotions. This is the path to true spiritual growth and transformation. Remember, you're on a journey, and every step, even the missteps, is part of your growth. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and keep moving forward. Your authentic self is waiting to be discovered and expressed. Embrace it and watch as your spiritual path unfolds in beautiful and unexpected ways.